Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back! Of course I'm back, I'm not going anywhere. Beast! Peekaboo, I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available summer 2023, the album, Dad, Shimmy Shimmy. AF, I went to a party last Saturday night, I didn't get laid, I got in a fight, Kiss me once, come on pretty baby, kiss me deadly. I have been singing that song, oh my God, so I graduated in 1990. So I've been singing that song now for, I don't know, 35, 36 years, Lita Ford. A little Lita Ford for you, I love her so much. Cherry Bomb! Anyway, from the Runaways, Lita Ford's old band. How are you guys doing today? Happy Wednesday. You've made it halfway through the week. Listen, Linda. I have to tell you guys something, okay? Hold on. We're going to be talking about lip balm today. I never thought I'd be doing like a whole drama video just talking about lip balm. Well, maybe I did. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to put on a little bit of lip balm today. When your lips are dry. This is like the opera version, okay? When your lips are dry as mine, then it's Luna Beauty time. Anyway, I have to tell you guys something. I feel like every time I make a drama video anymore, I like sit down and I'm like, okay, I have this receipt and I have that receipt and I have this receipt. And then I'm like outlining things and whatever. And I am so over it, y'all. Okay, I am so over it. Back in the day, when I started this whole drama gig, you know, back in the day when I was like, I don't know, just out of the gate, and I'd sit down here and I'd just say what I had to say. I didn't think about a whole lot, okay? I turned on the camera and I was like, listen, this is what I have to say, okay? If you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't know what to tell you. If you like it, thank you, I appreciate it. We can all have a conversation in the comment section below. But I like didn't go in and like think a lot about what I said, you know? And I think like this whole drama deal has gotten a little too serious, okay? I really do. Like, I think we've taken ourselves way too, not drama channels necessarily, but just, I don't know, you know, all of this, okay? It's just really not that deep in talking about Mikayla Nogueira or Jaclyn Hill and all this kind of stuff. For me, Peter Brady, for me, talking about the drama and the beauty influencer space has always been kind of like a source of fun, you know? And, I'm somebody that loves to watch, y'all know, I love to watch The Housewives. I love to watch reality. Don't ask me about Vanderpump Rules right now, okay? That show, my husband was watching it last night. That show is a mess of trouble right now, okay? What do I think? I think they ought to just fire everybody, okay? And start over from scratch, including Lisa. No, but that whole show is a mess. But, you know, I love to watch reality TV. And people are like, you have a hate boner for Jaclyn Hill. You have a hate boner for Shane Dawson. You have a hate boner for Jeffree Star. If y'all wanted to see me get a hate boner, okay, you ought to watch me watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta and watch, like, you know, Nene get into it with somebody. Y'all will see a different side of Peter Monn. I get so heated in watching all that kind of stuff. Whoo, you have no idea, okay? So no, I don't take any of this, I don't take none of this stuff that deeply, okay? My friend Tanya Jean, she always says, you get into those drama videos and she's like, it's like all of a sudden you like start talking like you're from the South or something. But I do, I don't know what it is. And we start like in the car, we start talking like this too. And I don't know, it doesn't matter. But you know, and she is a good example of this. Like she'll always call me up and she'll say, now what's going on with Trisha Paytas? What's going on with Jeffree Star? I'm like, Tanya, how is it you even know these people, you know? So we talk about it though. And I do have videos coming out about Trisha Paytas and Jeffree Star and all of them. So we'll be talking about that in a second. But today, we're going to be talking about Mikayla Nogueira. But like what I wanted to say was this, okay? Really, the breakdown of that thesis was really that, you know, the whole idea of my channel was never to really be that deep. And I think to be taken seriously as a drama channel in 2023, it's like you have to come with 15 receipts and all this kind of stuff. But I beg the question, why? But I beg the question, why? Why? Coco never meant it to be that way. What is wrong with me today? I got way too much sleep. I went to bed at 11 o'clock. I'm trying to watch all these Oscar movies, and last night I was like, I can't do it. Okay, tonight I'm going to bed. But I beg the question, why? Why can we not just have fun? You know, like for me, it was always just about sitting up in the kitchen. You know, listen, you bring your KJ. People are always like, what is KJ? Kendall Jackson, okay? That cheap ass wine that everybody drinks. Kendall Jackson, or your White Claw, or your, I don't know, your apple juice, or your water, or coffee, or whatever. We just sit up in the kitchen and we have a conversation. That's what my good Judy Tawny Jean and I do. Or we drive around and have a fountain pop, or, you know, whatever, okay? And we talk about all this kind of stuff. And that's always what I wanted my channel to be. I didn't want my channel to be like, let's take them down! You know what I mean? I just wanted to pose a question of what's going on about all this kind of stuff. Tomfoolery to go with Jaclyn Hill, and what's going on with Michaela, and what's going on with Jeffree Star, and then leave it up to you, and you guys can make the decision. That's always what I wanted my channel to be. Okay? So here we are. Let's talk about Mikayla Nogueira. Here's my question to you about this gal, right? First of all, Michaela, it's interesting to me, you know? Well, first of all, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she said to me, a friend of mine that has nothing to do with YouTube, and my friend said, why do you think this Michaela girl got so famous, like, overnight? I'm like, well, it's no mystery to me. I mean, she is just literally, like, a regular girl, okay, that was working in the Ulta, and, you know, that's what it is. And I will say this, and, you know, people can say it's the filters, which I know she is. Listen, ma'am, Michaela, can you DM me and teach me how to use those filters? Because I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing with one of those filters, but she does. She knows how to use those filters. But past that, I will say this. I think that Michaela, I think she's talented when it comes to makeup. I really do. And I think that you have to give credit where credit's due, right? I mean, listen, she wouldn't be where she's at on TikTok if she didn't have a little bit of talent. Okay, let's just be for real. And so I think for her, like when you're just, you know, a regular person out there, you know, regular girl, regular guy, and you're watching her videos and she's sitting there and, you know, she's testing lipstick with a breakfast sandwich, which I have to tell you, that was like, I lived for that video. I don't love Michaela, but I lived for that video. I was like, who's done that on YouTube or in the beauty space before? Like, I live for that kind of stuff, right? And she just is, you know, but then she becomes so problematic, right? And I'm like, girl, can you please just not be problematic? Because if you weren't problematic and you owned your SHI toot and you took responsibility for the problematic behaviors that you did, and you came out, like, this is the one thing that I was so hoping for Michaela with all of her problematic behavior was, and I've said this in countless videos, if with that whole lash ordeal and everything, you know, people are like, well, she's got to deal with L'Oreal, she can't speak on it or whatever. I don't buy that, okay? I'm not buying it, but whatever. Let's just say if it's true, okay? She could have come out and she still could have said, listen, I can't speak to this, but I will tell you going forward, I want to be the most, authentic, honest, and, you know, influencer that you guys see out there. And I'm really sorry that I lost a lot of hope in you guys. But I want you to know going forward, I'm taking responsibility right now, today, that I'm not going to be that person anymore. And you can hold me to that, right? And she would be setting a standard, and people would be like, oh my God, she's like a different person. Like, she is setting a new bar, and every beauty influencer out there, okay? Smart, not smart, honest, not honest, but every one of them would be held to that same standard. She would be setting the new bar, but she didn't do it. Why? Because she followed her mentor like Jaclyn Hill. She followed all these people out there that do the same thing, that do these, you know, all they care about is the money. Well, her day is going to come too, and she's not making as much money as she's making anymore. The girl's 24 years old. I mean, she's got a 5-year, probably, you know, time limit on her career. Like, let's just be for real. It's not going to last forever. There's going to be other newer, younger people that are going to come up. Hell, in 5 years, TikTok might not even be around. It probably won't, you know? So what I don't understand about her, though, is this, okay? Do you ever just wonder weird stuff like if snakes poop? I do, and I Google it, too. But I do. And like one of my favorite things, especially watching these Oscar movies, is I Google like the cast, and then I can tell you like everything that you ever wanted to know. Can you do that trick? Oh my God. So my friend back in the day, she was on the cover of Baton magazine when she was 4 years old. True story, okay? I went to high school, junior high, high school, college, graduate school with her, okay? She was my best Judy back in the day. But she was on the cover of Baton magazine when she was 4, and she taught me this trick with a baton. Now I can do it with a fan. Bet you can't. Bet you can't, Michaela. Anyway. Justice for puss. All right, so, but what I don't understand is this, okay? I don't understand how Michaela picks and chooses the drama that she decides to respond to, okay? It's like you have Lashgate, which is going to completely like ruin your career, which it didn't, right? Okay, and you don't respond to that at all when you should, because makeup is your business. Now, I will tell you, people are like, well, yeah, she got away with it. Yeah, it didn't really ruin her business. It didn't really hurt her at all today. But it will down the road, because the next time that she has a big scandal involving a non-disclosure, the next time she has a big scandal where she does something very similar to this, because you have to remember, okay, when you look at people like Jaclyn Hill, okay, and Jaclyn Hill has had multiple failed launches, okay, or multiple complaints about her launches, right, that people don't just look at one, they look at all of that, okay, or all the allegations about Jeffree Star and his past. And that those allegations continue to come around. People don't just look at one allegation, people look at all of them, okay? And all of these different things, you know? And so when you look at these people over time, it's collectively what they've done that's problematic. It's not just that one incident. So yeah, sure, she got away with Lashgate. She got away with not addressing it, but she'll have to address it down the road. There will be something bigger that comes up that happens. Because I am a believer. Now, people say in my videos a lot, okay? And I have to tell you, I really appreciate when people say this. I think it's very, very nice. It means a lot to me when people say this. But they'll say, Peter, you give these people free PR. If they listen to what you said, it's not just me. Listen to the other drama channels. The other drama channels, they got just as much common sense as I do. And probably half of you out there have just as much common sense. We all got common sense, right? This doesn't take brains to look at this stuff and say, this is what you need to do, right? We're just people that have YouTube channels and we're talking about it. That's what I think drama channels are, you know? But anyway, there's, you know, it's going to really bite these people in the ASS because they don't address these things. And they think that they're going to get away with it down the road. But what confuses me about Michaela is that she chooses to address some drama and not other drama. And I'm not really sure why. But this is what's interesting to me about it, okay? As I've kind of watched it. You know, like this girl came out that went to their school. She addressed that drama, okay? Then there was like somebody else that came out. She addressed that drama. That was all during Lashgate. Well, I think that was a deflection tactic. I think she was trying to deflect off of Lashgate. So she was going to say, I'm going to address all this right stuff. You know, then time anybody comes for... Anytime anybody comes for Cody, she is constantly the first one to take up for Cody and be like, don't come for Cody, don't. Girl, listen, okay? I'm just going to tell you something right now. That's a bad look. I'm just going to tell you, Cody's a grown man, okay? Cody needs to, they call him Grody. I'm sorry, I meant Cody, okay? He seems very nice. He does, very nice. Cody needs to stand on his own 2 feet and defend himself, okay? I don't need my husband defending me, and Cody sure as shit doesn't need you, okay? 25 cents for the cuss jar. Okay. Cody sure as shit doesn't need you. Okay. Saying, don't come for Cody. I mean, girl, seriously. I mean, what man needs his woman defending him like that? Okay. It's kind of a sad look, you know, and she always does it. It's like, could you let Cody defend himself for just once? You know, I mean, I don't really understand it. My battery died right as I was getting into the good stuff, see? It's always right when I'm getting into the good stuff. But no, like, I don't understand, okay? She always needs to take to defending Cody. I don't get it. I don't get it, okay? Now, you do you, okay? If Cody, as a grown man, needs you to stand up for him, maybe he does, okay? Maybe he cannot stand on his own 2 feet and defend himself. But I can tell you, I don't need my husband defending me, okay? I can stand on my own 2 feet and defend myself any day of the week. So I'm not really sure why Cody can't, but it's like she's always taken to social media. It's always in the comment sections of the TikToks, right? Defending Cody. And I just don't get it. I'm just like, girl, I don't understand it, right? And like, that's the biggest thing that she takes to. It's always about Cody. It's always, don't talk about Cody. Don't do that. She can talk about Cody all day long, I guess, because it's her fiance, and she can throw him up in pictures and whatever, right? It's like, and this is the thing, and I'm kind of surprised that she's been doing this as long as she has, but she doesn't really understand the game of social media. It's like, if you post a picture of you and your fiance, you're opening that person to criticism, okay? You're opening your fiance to people saying things about your fiance, okay? If you're putting your fiance in a TikTok and they have a vape in their lap, you're opening people up to saying something about, is he smoking a vape, okay? I'm just saying, right? On and on and on. If you're going to put your, person in there. And I've said this in past, put your person in there. In the TikTok, not there, okay? But I'm sure that too, because I'm sure, I wish them all the best as a couple. I really do, okay? And I take no issue with Cody, and he seems like a really sweet guy, and they seem very happy together, okay? And in a second, I will be defending him, just so y'all know. This was a video about me defending him, but I'm just like too giggly and funny and happy today that I had to just do some drama, okay? But anyway, she's always defending him. And I'm like, girl, seriously? You throw him up in TikToks, you throw him up in pictures on Instagram, but then you don't want anybody to say anything about him, and anytime anybody says anything about him, like you get super mad about it. Girl, don't say, if you didn't say anything at all, if you just shut your mouth and you didn't say anything at all, people would stop saying things, because what they realize is, don't nobody care about Cody, okay? He's just Michaela's fiance and soon-to-be husband, and people would stop talking about him. It really comes across as your insecurity about your fiance, that there is something that you are insecure with about that you constantly have to be defending him. It almost is like there's something that you know that we don't know. I'm just putting it out there, okay? This is how it seems to me as an observer, okay? That you're constantly defending him and jumping to his defense. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why, I just don't get it, I will tell you this. Like, as a person that has been sober for 28 years, and I have had my picture taken at Super Bowl parties and events and all kinds of things, right? I can tell you right now that if somebody got in the comment section of all of that and was like, oh, Peter's holding, a can, or Peter's at this event, and Peter shouldn't be at this. Girl, it ain't nobody's business as a sober person what I do with my life, okay? I am sober for myself today, all right? And also, in that I hope I don't directly negatively affect the people that are closely around me, like my husband and my close friends and family, right? And that's why I stay sober today. For me. I don't do it for the masses, okay? And nobody else should either. So I'm not really sure why you're constantly defending Cody's sobriety. There's no reason to do that. You don't need to do that. And as a sober person, like, that is not a reason to stay sober. I'm just telling you, okay? And I don't think, like, you need to prove anything to anybody else. And I'm really, like, Michaela, I'm speaking right to you. I hope you are watching this video. I'm really, like, kind of, like, trying to be kind when I say this. I don't want you to hear this as a criticism. You don't owe it to anybody to defend Cody's sobriety, period, or explain it, and like, God forbid that something would happen, I mean, sobriety is hard, sobriety is tough, it's not easy, okay, it just isn't, and God forbid something would happen. Let's please not make it, a social story and talk about all this kind of stuff, and let them handle it how they need to handle it, and it's not yours to speak to, and if Cody wants to speak to it, Cody can speak to it. But, I mean, it's like I said this in a video that I did previously, it's very obvious to me that Michaela and Cody have had a lot of conversations about recovery. And it's obvious to me, I don't know what meetings he goes to or if he has a sponsor or any of that kind of stuff, but it's obvious to me by the language that she uses that he does participate in a 12-step program. You cannot fake that stuff, you guys. I'm just going to tell you, okay? When people talk to me about, and there's a lot of different ways to get sober, I get that, okay? I'm just talking about what I do, which is work a 12-step program, which I believe is what Cody does, because she has said he works a 12-step program, okay? When you work a 12-step program, there's a language that comes along with that you cannot fake. You really cannot fake. And so, I don't know how to explain it to you, but it's like, for example, like people that are court-ordered sometimes to meetings, we'll call them classes instead of meetings, or talking about steps and things like that and whatever. I mean, she speaks the language of recovery. She really does. And so I have to tell you, as a person in recovery, I believe that he's doing what he needs to be doing. I hope he is, for him and for her. But really, like, I don't know that I think that that's anybody else's business. I just don't. So let's get into what happened in the last 24 hours, because I have rambled on long enough. And I know my time stamper. My timestamper with that little face. Oh my God, I love her so much. She can timestamp this video at 16 minutes or something like that. But anyway, so Michaela put this like stitch up or duet or I don't know, waltz or cha-cha. What do we call it? I don't know, a stitch, I think. But anyway, on her TikTok, and it's her having Cody like try this lip balm. So here, I'm gonna play it for you. Here you go.
Can you put this on? Just put it on like regular lip balm, okay?
So there you go. The TikTok that's causing all the controversy. I actually think it's kind of funny. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, like in his lap, he has a vape, okay? A nicotine vape, right? And people are losing their minds off of this, right? I actually have to tell you what is so funny to me is that he picks up this lip gloss, right? And, you know, she's like, here, Cody, use this or whatever. What's funny to me that's not getting the comments is that instead of putting the lip balm on, which is what the stitch is about, he sticks it in his mouth. Hey, Cody, I got a bigger one for you. Oh, if you're looking for something bigger, and maybe Jeffree Star can teach you that because I heard he's real good with all that. But anyway, I was kind of taken aback because I mean, it was kind of a funny moment that Cody stuck this lip balm in his mouth, like we know what, okay? BJ's will save the day. But anyway, I just like, that was kind of funny to me. And I was like, then all these people were going crazy in the comment section about the fact that he, that he had this vape in his lap. So I was brought attention to this by a Twitter account named Marvelous John with all the T, always posting all the T. I will post his Twitter account below so you guys can go check him out. But anyway, and he posts a lot of like tea that's going on and things like that. But what was interesting to me about this was all of these people, I feel like, okay, I said this in a video of mine not too long ago in talking about Michaela, that I feel like people are coming for Michaela and I'm just trying to be the voice of reason. Who said that not too long ago? Wait a second. Baton magazine. Who said that not too long ago that they were the voice of reason? Was that Jeffree Star? I think it was Jeffree Star. Yeah, okay, Jeffree. But anyway, I mean, I'm just trying to be the voice of objectivity for a second, okay, here, right? And this is what I said about Michaela. You know, I think it's fair to come to Michaela or come for Michaela for her business practices like disclosing, or about possibly using fake lashes in an ad campaign that she says is a review, or her doing an ad campaign that she disguises as a review. I think all of those things are fair, okay? I think if she is using filters and she is saying this is her final look and it's makeup and she's got filters and that is, she is being inauthentic, I think that is a fair criticism. I think a lot of these issues that people have with her are fair criticisms, okay? I think the problem is this, and I have witnessed this in my 6.5 years of doing drama on YouTube, that what happens is somebody gets in the hot seat and then we start picking them apart for everything, and the real issues become muted at that point, right? Like the real issues become kind of forgotten. And then we don't really remember what it was that we were coming for this person for, or the real issues that we should be holding this person accountable for, because then it becomes about vapes, or pictures at the Super Bowl, or her taking her fiance, who has a mind of his own as an adult person that has 3 years of sobriety, okay, to the Super Bowl. We make it about all of that, instead about what we should be making it about, and continuing to hold it to the same standard about her non-disclosing. Like if people had not forgotten about that and let it go, and it was still being, she would have at some point been forced to have to address it. But what happened, okay? People started talking about the Super Bowl. People started talking about this. People started talking about vapes in Cody's lap. And so then it becomes about all these other things, right? And then people forget the real issues that are why she should be held accountable. For me, as a business person that's making millions of dollars on YouTube and or TikTok, this is why she should be held accountable. Not about a vape in Cody's lab that people are going crazy for. So let me read you a few of these comments that she addresses. And this is where, you know, Michaela always wants to come out and address this kind of stuff. So hold on a second. So somebody said, is that a vape? And she says, nicotine, vape, yeah. And then all these people say stuff about how nicotine's bad for you and on and on and on. And then she says, hold on a second. Is this her? I don't think this is her. No, it's not her. Somebody responds and says, better than him doing heroin? It's the least of our worries. Oh, no, that's what she says, I think. And then somebody asks her if she vapes. And she said no. And all these people are going on and on and on about it. And people are saying stuff about his pupils being big. And on and on and on. It goes on and on. Somebody said, is that a vape? Like, they've never seen one in their lives. People are saying all this kind of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of comments about this vape, okay? Well, so tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I wanna. My parents went away for a week's vacation. Okay. So as a member of a 12-step program, and I am only sharing my experience, strength, and hope, I am not a representative of any 12-step program. This light just got real bright, didn't it? This little light of mine, I'm gonna make it shine. Anyway, I don't know, for many of you out there, if you've ever been to a 12-step meeting before, if you're ever part of a 12-step program. I have been part of a 12-step program for 28 years, and I will tell you that coffee, energy drinks, cigarettes, and vapes are huge, okay? They are probably, I would say, about 80% of people at meetings either drink coffee, which is caffeine, drink energy drinks, I would say that's more the younger generation, smoke cigarettes, or smoke vapes. And they always have, and they probably always will, okay? And those are things that we call outside issues in recovery. And yes, so for all of those people that want to come over here and cast a little judgment on Peter Monn, I am one to take some enjoyment in a cigarette every once in a while. So, because I know that was a huge issue a few years ago. But you know, like, this is just, it's not a huge deal in recovery. And I'm really, and I know, okay, listen, I'm the first one to tell you that cigarette smoking and vaping and all that stuff is the nastiest stuff in the entire world. I get it, okay? I really do. But I will say that it's something that's pretty common in recovery. And I will tell you, I do 100% agree with Michaela that it is better than using heroin. I really do believe that. And why are we coming for somebody in recovery over using a vape? I mean, to be honest with you, like, if Cody took this to, like, people that he was in recovery with and went to meetings with, like, it would be laughable. It would be, they would say, what? Like, people are upset with you for, I mean, it would be laughable. It would be absolutely laughable, right? So I just wanted to make that clear. I think, you know, I think it's important when we are talking about issues like this, and especially, and I will be somebody that will come out and share my truth about being a person in recovery, because I went to my home group meeting last night with my best friend, you know, talked to my sponsor yesterday, on and on and on, right? So I'm very active in a 12-step program, and I do think it's important to talk and normalize that process for people and what's going on. It's no big deal for people in recovery to, I mean, I'm not saying that it's not for them, okay? I mean, health-wise and all that kind of stuff, that's their business. But I'm telling you, it's not abnormal to see people at a 12-step meeting smoke cigarettes outside after the meeting or vape outside after the meeting. That's not abnormal. It's pretty typical. You see a lot of people do it. People gather around outside after the meeting and smoke a cigarette or vape or have a cup of coffee. I mean, that's really pretty normal. And so, I don't know, like, for me, it's kind of like, why are we, like, making so much focus off of this? Like, can we just leave them alone a little bit on this kind of stuff? Like, really? Like, are we? And then people are jumping to, it's a marijuana vape. It's not a marijuana vape. Get down on it and look, okay? It's a vape you can buy at a gas station. End of story, period, okay? Look at what he's got in his lab. You know, and this is what makes me sad about it is, and I have said this a lot to people, and I'm not saying this to Saint Michaela or Cody or anything like that, but I will say this as far as Michaela thinking about maybe not putting Cody so much in the public eye. And I know that she shared recently that he's been 3 years sober, and 3 years is amazing. Congratulations, Cody, on that, you know. I think 30 days is amazing. I think 1 day, I think 24 hours is absolutely amazing, you know. And every day I say a prayer for the still suffering alcoholic and addict out there that might not make it till tomorrow. But I share this with people a lot in my personal life, that I can't imagine what it would be like to have gotten sober or be sober in my early years in the public eye and be under their scrutiny and be under their questioning, you know, and is that a cigarette nicotine vape, or is that a cannabis vape, and you know, what are you doing here? And I'd be like, it would have been too much for me. I couldn't have handled it. I really couldn't have. I would have been on the phone with my sponsor 24 hours a day knowing how to handle stuff. I couldn't have handled it. I really couldn't have, you know? And that's the only thing that I would say, is that I hope that he's got a good support system around. And maybe he does, and maybe none of this stuff bothers him, you know? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe he's like, girl, I could care less what they say about my vape. And then what I would say to that is, Michaela, you don't need to defend him either, you know? So it is what it is. But I think that we need to stick to the facts. And I think that we need to focus on the real issues with these people as business people, instead of like getting in the weeds and making it about all this other kind of stuff. I know that stuff's the fun stuff to talk about sometimes. Trust me, I like to talk about that stuff sometimes too. The fun, trivial stuff. I'm not saying that this is trivial, but I'm just saying the trivial stuff sometimes is the stuff that's fun to talk about. But when you're really talking about holding these people accountable, we got to talk about holding them accountable based on their business practices. Because in the end, they're business people. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.